Hi, my name is Jordan. I'm here today with Jamie, Connor, Matthew and Hubie. And today we're doing our organisational behaviour assignment on motivation. We were given a case study on Highland Limited, and due to the current economic climate, it seems to be failing. We are now looking at why the motivation factors affecting these employees aren't working and what new factors we can give them. Two employees we'll be looking at in particular is John and Michael. They are both different people and different ages, different generations, but have also different motivational factors that will affect them personally. We will see what is affecting them and what solutions we can give them in order to re-motivate them to work better. I'm now going to pass you on to Jamie, who's going to tell you about the history of the business.
Yeah, so Highland Limited is a privately owned, internationally focused engineering and construction enterprise. It has world-class capabilities which spans the entire client value chain. It is an MNC that works with both large and smaller companies and other privately owned companies as well. A multinational company is a company which owns and controls production of products in at least one or more countries outside of its own origin. The history of Highland Limited is that of energy and passion. It is renowned for its people skills and great teamwork within the within the organisation. Some of the most famous landmarks around the world have Highland Limited at the core of its projects. It all started back on 26th of August 1978 when Derek Hyland, who was an engineer from Dublin, started work with his former colleague Paul, who had his own construction company at that time, thus forming Highland Limited, which now have operations in Canada, America, Britain and Asia. At the height of their powers, they had over 15,000 people working for them around the world. So in recent years, with the economy improving and indeed the construction world increasing, you would think that this would be good for all companies in this sector. However, this is not the case for Highland Limited, as their fortunes have indeed took a downturn. This is due to a number of reasons. It's due to increased competition, and since the economy has picked up, Highland Limited have grown too fast and they don't have the resources necessary for this growth. This is a massive reason in a lot of failures in construction companies. So the final reason for a series of bad luck is poor management from the central hub here in Dublin. The increased competition in the field has led to very limited success in recent times for the company. New fresh-faced companies have decided to do the same work at the same standard for a fraction of the less price than Highland Limited have decided to do. So as we see with a lot of construction companies, growing too fast can be a very main reason as why they don't have good fortunes. When a recession kicked in, a lot of companies had to cut overheads, and this is the same as Highland Limited, because they started to downsize and de-layer itself to make itself more competitive. However, this was not the right idea, and it has increased workload on current staff and has led to a lack of motivation within the company. The HR department in Highland has kept a close eye on staff and has been constantly assessing the situation with the remaining staff members. The managers of the company are now aware that they need to make changes quickly in order to improve the fortunes of the company, and we feel that with the correct changes in place, Highland's fortunes will indeed turn around and will be able to be back at the fore of construction and engineering once again. I'm going to now pass you on to Hubie, who's going to talk to you about motivation.
I want to talk to you about the strategy to improve motivation overall in the company. Motivation is goal directed. A goal is a specific result that an individual wants to achieve, and there is a process in place to achieve this goal. The motivational process begins with identifying the person's needs. In this case, we'll be applying the process to Highland Limited. Same core motivational process that can apply to an individual can be applied to a company as a whole. Motivating a company will bring up a few challenges during the process, as different employees are looking for different specific results. John is looking for John is pragmatic. The first strategy will be apply a content theory of motivation, the motivator hygiene theory. Frederick Hertzberg examined the relationship between job satisfaction and productivity in a group of accountants and engineers. Helgriel, Slocum and Woodman described two different sets of factors emerged, motivators and hygiene. Motivator factors include the work itself, recognition, advancement and responsibility. Motivators are intrinsic factors. These are feelings linked to an individual. Hygiene factors include company policy, administration and interpersonal relationships. The job environment is related to these factors, and they are also extrinsic factors. Meaning the organisation largely determines the factors. Hygiene factors account for most of the reasons why workers are dissatisfied with their jobs. The second strategy would be to look at a different theory, a process theory called the expectancy theory. This theory states that people are motivated to work when they believe that they get what they want from their jobs. Helgriel noted that there are four assumptions about the cause of behaviour in organisations that are the basis to this theory. The first assumption is that individuals decide their own behaviours in organisations, although rules, technology and work itself can cause constraints on the individual's behaviour. The second assumption is individuals decide among alternatives based on their perceptions of whether certain behaviour will lead to a desired outcome. The third and fourth assumptions are the assumptions that apply to Highland Limited and their issues. The third assumption is that a combination of forces in the individual and the environment itself determines behaviour. The fourth assumption is that different individuals have different needs and goals. These needs and goals are usually rewards such as pay, promotion or challenging at work. If the current problems are not addressed in Highland Limited with urgency from management, these issues with lack of motivation, work stress may turn into bigger and more crippling problems for Highland. Our team suggests using the methods we selected that we have extracted from motivational theories. And now I'm going to pass you on to Matthew.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk to you now about John and his motivational issues. From the information given to us in the brief, we can tell that John has been working at the company now for 25 years. He's been a team leader for 10 years, and at the moment he's currently lacking motivation within the organisation. John's been a team leader for 10 years and been there for 25 years, which shows that he's a valued employee who has a lot of experience and knowledge within the organisation. Due to the recent redundancies, John has been asked to retrain and take on new roles and responsibilities. Usually a new role, for example promotion or taking on the extra responsibilities within an organisation can be seen as a motivator for most employees, as it's seen as a fresh start, as something different to challenge the employees and something to keep them busy. But for John this is not the case, as John has been with the organisation for this many years. He sees this as an inconvenience at this late stage in his career. John does not feel it necessary or does not feel that it is worthwhile for him to take on these extra roles and responsibilities, and he's uncomfortable with the idea of change. John doesn't feel it's worth his while to learn new skills and take on new roles. And according to Michael Page, as an employer you have a certain amount of responsibility for the motivation and well-being of your workforce. And for a team to function at the best of its ability, all members must be fully engaged and fully committed. This is obviously not the case with Highland Limited at the moment due to the redundancies and them struggling within the market. Page believes that John's lack of motivation is a result of the actions of his employers and not down to him himself. As I said, at this stage of John's career we assume that money is no longer a means of motivation, as he's worked there for 25 years and a leader for 10 years. He needs to be motivated by other factors other than money. Therefore progression and career vision must play a role here. I'm now going to talk to you about solutions for John and how we can fix his dissatisfaction and lack of motivation. In order to resolve the lack of motivation within their staff, Highland Limited must put in place theories of motivation such as the Hertzberg hygiene motivation model. In this model, Hertzberg describes how during negative events within an organisation, this can lead to an increased dissatisfaction within the employees and vice versa with positive events. In the case of Highland Limited, this is the redundancies and the organisation struggling within the market. This is having a negative effect on the rest of the employees and therefore a lack of motivation within them. In order to resolve this issue, the organisation should change their company policies, i.e. how they handle employees' redundancy packages, how they talk to them, how they give them different workload, roles and responsibilities. Hopefully with this, using this Hertzberg model as a theory of motivation, this will help John feel more secure in the business, and he'll be willing to take on these new roles and responsibilities without the fear of making a mistake being as crucial to him. Another theory of motivation that the organisation can use is the equity theory. This theory is set out by John Stacey Adams. In this theory, John Stacey Adams argues that employees are motivated when they perceive their treatment in the workplace to be fair. So in order to improve John's motivation, his employees should provide him with recognition for the work he's doing, as well as offering help by means of his team to complete tasks. By talking to John and telling him that he's doing a good job and giving him roles and responsibilities that he's already comfortable with doing, this will hopefully improve his motivation, whereas giving him the jobs he doesn't want to do at the moment is having the opposite effect. The sharing of workload also will help increase staff interrelations and how they get on with each other, and also help educate the rest of the staff within the business. Hopefully they'll do better in the market share, and this in turn will decrease dissatisfaction within the organisation and a lack of motivation. I'll now pass on to Conor who talked about Michael.
Michael has been given a new role, temporary role in the business. Due to the business downsizing, the new role involves him having a much larger part in the business and a higher position in the business. This happened to him a lot sooner than he expected, as he's only joined the business recently enough. It would appear that Michael has been given a sense of empowerment, but he is afraid that he will not be able to perform these tasks that are new to him, as he is still only a newcomer to the business. Since Michael has a lack of experience and a larger workload, it is clear that this would leave Michael unmotivated, as no matter how much he goes to go and tackle these jobs, he is unable to due to a lack of experience and a lack of training as well. So knowing that no matter how much he tries, he will not be able to complete these tasks is a serious reason for him to be left unmotivated. An effect of downsizing that I'm going to discuss now is the survivor syndrome. This has been defined by Applebaum, and could be one of the reasons why Michael is not confident in performing his role in running the department. Applebaum feels the survivor syndrome often confuses an employee in an organisation. He notes that it was found that survivors are usually not informed or misinformed about many issues in the business, such as their place in the newly organised business, the expected performance standards, the key people in existence and existing networks that are leaving or changing, extra work demands, the value of their expertise and to a new organisation, and the existence or lack of opportunities for advancement. Another point observed by Applebaum is that downsizing leads to job insecurity. He defines job insecurity by stating that survivors wonder how long it will be before they will be able to keep their jobs, and they're worried that they are not prepared to find work elsewhere, or that there is no comparable outside jobs. This means Michael is very pressured in his job, as he feels if he cannot perform in his new role, he will be left jobless, as due to downsizing, he fears that his job could easily be taken from him if he cannot perform. And then for my solution to Michael, I briefly discussed Maslow's hierarchy of needs by going into the section known as safety needs. The safety needs are those that need to be met before someone can progress into fulfilling the next needs required by a person. In business terms, the safety needs can be seen as security, and by security I mean job security. This essentially means the employee is feeling safe knowing that his job is stable and he will not lose his position anytime soon. But due to downsizing and being put in a new role where he fears he may underperform, Michael feels that he does not have security in his job, as with downsizing he's seen many of his people leave, and since he's been temporarily given the role to run the department, his role may seem unstable to him, as he doesn't know if he's going to be secure in that role, or whether he'll be able to perform in that role, or whether he'll be able to even keep his job if they downsize again. What would also benefit Michael greatly would be the correct training and development implemented for his new role. With a year and a half in the role, Michael should know roughly all the functions and departments of his business, meaning for a temporary role, he should be able to temporarily understand how to go about these and what tasks need to be done in the role, but what he needs to be trained on essentially is doing these tasks and how to get them done. This, along with the correct training, will allow him to figure out how to carry what activities are needed to achieve what's done and how to correctly run the department. Another factor that Michael should consider is time management. With a much larger workload and the fact that he's running the department, he will need to delegate each time to each activity correctly and efficiently in order to get each task done. As he's running the department, he should be able to talk to his other colleagues and implement ways for them to also work efficiently to allow all jobs to be completed correctly and efficiently. I'm now going to pass you on to Jordan, who will conclude this presentation.
In conclusion to this assignment, we have learned that the Highland Limited is an institution. We have learned that it's been a company for over 50 years and has dedicated a lot to the world's landscape and to architecture everywhere. We have also learned that the delayering and remodelling of the business has deeply affected employees in every shape. Their jobs have been changed and they have different responsibilities within the business. In regards to John, he's been in the business for 25 years. He feels he shouldn't have to learn all these new skills and abilities, as his job has been the same more or less for that period of time. He feels he is too old to be learning new skills in his career. We recommend for him the hygiene theory and we recommend the equity theory. We believe this will help him become more motivated within the business and he'll be able to contribute greater. In respect to Michael, Michael's only been in the business for a year and a half. He's relatively new despite him proving himself as being a young, hard, dynamic worker. However, we believe that he needs, as the delayering and the rescheduling of the business or remodeling of the business, that he will need to learn new skills in order to lead the department. For example, we believe that he should involve himself in mastering Maslow's pyramid. We believe that if he can reach self-actualization, he'll reach the full level of his potential and be more motivated within the business. We also recommend learning new skills. We want him to learn time management. We want to give him job security and we want to give him training and development. All these different features will contribute greatly to his performance and we believe this will motivate him to a greater ability. Thank you for listening. That is our presentation.